name's Wayne and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about alignments, whether your car is perfectly stock or modified for improved handling. And then we're going to take my 1970 Cuda to the alignment shop and get it aligned, and I'll go over the numbers that I use for my car at the end of the video. Now if you're new to the channel, I just installed the Hotchkiss TVS kit on my 1970 Cuda, as well as the SPC adjustable upper control arms. And I put on the Hotchkiss shocks, and I also did four-wheel disc brakes, all by Baer, as well as some modern 18-inch tires that are really designed for handling. So trying to get the car to handle a lot better than stock, right? So something more of like a modern performance car. Now before we look at actual alignment numbers, it's important to remember too that if you raise or lower your vehicle, it's going to change your alignment. So you want to make sure your ride height is set before you get your vehicle aligned. And first, let's talk about camber. So camber is the inward or outward angle of a tire when viewed from the front of a vehicle. And toe is the outward or inward angle of your wheels and tires when viewed from above your vehicle. And caster is the angle of your steering axis when viewed from the side of your vehicle. If you have positive caster, the steering axis will tilt towards the driver. If you have negative caster, it's going to tilt towards the front of the vehicle. And then with that being said, if I just use the factory alignment specs, man, I would be taking a step back in time because those are not designed for these modern radial tires. But we will start there. We're going to take a look at what the factory says in the book, and we'll go from there. Now let's see what our 1970 shop manual had to say for our vehicle specifications for an alignment. All right, so camber, they show positive 1/4 to 3/4 degrees, preferred 1/2. Now, when it comes to camber, with modern tires especially, that is going the wrong direction. You want a negative degree of camber for improved handling. And for caster, with power steering cars, they talk about positive 1/4 to positive 1 1/4 with positive 3/4 preferred. Again, super conservative. Nowadays, you would really want to start out with a minimum of 1.5 degrees of positive caster. And toe end, 3/32 to 5/32, preferred 1/8 inch. So that's what they're calling for from the factory. And if you have modern tires, you would not want to do this to your vehicle. You're going to leave so much handling performance on the table. Now let's look at some alignment settings that are more modern day and realistic for different driving styles. So here's a chart I grabbed off the internet, and I just grabbed it for simplicity's sake rather than having to type all this out. And it's a good reference point to start at, but it has a few things we can talk about. And we're going to focus on camber and caster. And starting with camber, anything more than negative, like say, 1/2 degree of camber, is you're going to start seeing excessive inner tread tire wear. So that's why you can see those higher negative camber numbers under the max performance and autocrossing. And again, I wouldn't ever try to run more than -1 on a street car. Now, if you're setting up your car for autocrossing or road racing, then you're probably already going to know this, but you're going to be upwards of that negative, 3 degrees of negative camber. Now, the caveat with that is you're not going to be able to get probably more than -1, maybe not even that much with the factory upper control arms, and because all you have to adjust those with is your factory eccentric bolt on the Mopars. So something to consider. Now caster, this one's a little more interesting. These numbers are still, in my opinion, pretty conservative. And even with the max performance street, autocross, road racing, because if you look at any caster settings for modern day performance cars, let's say Mustang GT or Corvette, you're going to see caster settings of anywhere from +4 up to +7 degrees. And that's going to give you a lot more high-speed stability. But the problem again is getting those numbers with a factory system set up. You probably won't be able to. You're going to need something like an adjustable upper control arm, like what I'm running on my car. Now, another thing to consider too is the drag racing. I just wanted to touch on real quick. You want as little rolling resistance as possible, so that's why you have a 0 camber setting there as well. Now, one thing I want to talk on real quick about the factory bushings and control arms is Moog makes an offset upper control arm bushing. Now this can give you a little bit of adjustability without having to spend a lot of money like you would on the upper control arm. So it's something to consider if you're budget limited. Now it's time to get this old girl to the alignment shop. Now I'm going to take my car to Slim's Alignment and Hot Rod Shop. They're in East Point at 10 in Gratiot, and they have a really good reputation in the area for doing quality work and doing great alignments. All right, so here I am at the alignment shop. We're going to pick up the CUDA. It's all done, and we're at Slim's. Take this thing for a ride, man. Cannot wait. See how this thing feels. So we're back from the alignment shop, and the car drives great, nice and straight. I have really good steering feel. I know some of you guys are waiting for the time in the video where I review the suspension brakes. That won't be in this video, but that's coming soon. And everyone at Slim's was great to deal with, so they did a good job. I talked to them throughout the process, and they kept the car indoors for one night that it was there, because I dropped it off one day so they could start it early on a Monday morning. And now let's go over the alignment settings that I chose for the CUDA. So what settings did I end up going with for my car? Well, after a lot of thought and consideration, I ended up going with -1 degree of camber, +5.5 degrees of caster, and toe in 1/8 inch. I chose these settings because I put a lot of effort into upgrading all my suspension, and I want the car to handle really well. And it's not going to be a daily driver, and it's going to be a fun car, car I would like to do some events with as well. And so I really want to maximize the handling I can while it's still being very streetable. Now, to be able to reach some of these values, you'll have to have adjustability in your suspension, and I chose the SBC upper control arms. And by looking at the results, he was able to hit those numbers that I wanted pretty much dead on, so I was real happy with that, and I really liked the way the car drove. And I'll have some follow-up videos of that down the road, but the car drove great. I didn't feel like it trammed down the road bad at all. Drove nice and straight. The steering wheel was center, which is always a pet peeve of mine if it's not, and mine was, so he did a great job there. So I was real happy with Slims. And that's going to bring this video to an end, but we can cross one more thing off our list, and that is getting that alignment. So that is going to be it for this video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, please hit the like button, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't. If you turn on the bell notification, you'll be notified each and every time I upload a new video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.